Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Deliberately Intentional with me, Remi Fagbohun. We have an amazing guest in the studio today, my first one outside of my family, and that is Marv Perdomo.
Hey, thank you for having me. I'm happy to be here.
Marv is, believe it or not, Marv is like my newest friend. I'm going to say my
Yeah.
newest friend. We are like 2 months in,
Yeah.
2 months into this
2 months
relationship.
into this, yeah.
And the reason why I've actually specifically invited him here is because one of the things that a lot of people talk about is no new friends. And I actually do not believe in that. I believe that at every juncture of your life, you're going to meet people that are going to help you with various things. And if I were to just hold on to the friends that I had in the past, there's so many things that I wouldn't have learned. But let me talk about who Marv is. I'm going to let him introduce himself, actually.
So yeah, I'm Marvin Perdomo. I'm the owner, creator, and operator of Bravery Studios. I've been doing this for 7 years. I've produced over 100 different podcast episodes, maybe 1,000. I lost count, and I've worked with maybe over 100 different podcasts. So I have a little bit of knowledge in the field.
A lot of knowledge. He has helped me
Yeah.
so much, and I cannot thank you enough. But
You make it easy.
I don't know about that. I mean, my husband would think otherwise or would say otherwise. But part of the reason why I wanted the male perspective is, whether we like it or not, I always bring everything back to friendships and relationships. But in this friendship, I believe that for me, I get a lot of knowledge from you in regards to podcasting. I think for me, if I should ask you, but if I want to project and like guess what I think you get from me, would be a little bit of an insight into friendships and relationships. A little?
A lot, I would say a lot. The term deliberately intentional has stayed with me, and when you speak on it, I kind of have put it into play in my own life, like
Hey,
being
it's working.
intentional with what I want, and I guess being upfront and just working towards what I want. I guess.
Amazing. It's
Yeah.
working little by little. But
Yeah.
I think, can we go deep? Can we go back and think about or talk about what you thought relationships would be like growing up? What was your background in, what's your upbringing like?
Yeah, I grew up here in Jersey, Patterson, New Jersey, and I'm one of 6 kids, so we had a big family. Parents that separated when I was in high school, so I was already kind of grown up by the time they separated, so it didn't really hurt me that much. But I didn't really look towards their relationship to kind of get the basis for relationship, because they didn't really talk to each other much, which I didn't understand why until I was older. But like in movies, you see, when I was a kid, the Disney movie, the cartoons were like so popular,
Of course.
and you see that the prince saving the princess, or the king, that strong, super dramatic love affair, like
With no weaknesses.
with no weaknesses. Yeah, they meet right away, and it's love at first sight. So I think as a kid, yeah, I thought that's what it was. Like, I have to be a hero, and rescue a damsel
In distress.
in distress. Yeah, I think that's how I looked at relationships before.
Well, for me, it was completely different. I didn't even want a relationship. I know it sounds weird when you see what considering what I'm doing right now, but I
Yeah.
didn't want a relationship. I did have that same impression you had, because all I used to read was romantic novels. And so,
Yeah.
I just felt like, oh, he's going to come sweep me off my feet.
Yeah.
But there's no basis in reality, because the truth of the matter is that relationships are nothing like that.
Yeah, nothing. Yeah.
What's your relationship? I mean, hello, are you single?
I am single at the moment,
Okay.
yes.
You can contact me for his details. No, but jokes aside, what's dating been like?
Dating? Well, I haven't dated in a while, I'll be honest with you.
You're handsome. Why not? Hello.
Well, I'm tied up here all day, and working, but I guess the last time I dated, it really didn't feel like there was a courting period. It just kind of, if I could be blunt, it kind of just sped up to
Hook up.
and then now we're sleeping together. Now
We're a couple.
there's no term. We never put a word on it, but it just, since we're always together, it's like we're a couple now. Yeah.
Do you find that the hookup culture is more prevalent now than like maybe? I don't believe that I ever heard about hooking up in our time, because remember, I'm 50.
Yeah.
So you guys are much younger. I hear it a lot from my son, and I'm hearing it from you as well. But do you remember hearing anything like that in your parents' time or any?
Oh no, no,
Yeah.
no, no. My mom, I think I went with her one time to pick up a date, and she sat in the car. Me not even thinking how weird that might be if when the girl comes outside, but she asked me if that was my girlfriend. I said no, we're just talking. She's like, what does that mean? What do you mean you're just talking? And it was like very confusing to her. So no, I know exactly that that's not something from generations ago that existed, the hookup culture.
Yeah, and it's do you find that that's actually messing with relationships becoming deeper or becoming even a relationship? I guess hooking up is a kind of a relationship of sorts.
Is it messing up relationships? I think social media plays a huge part in that because it's so easy to find someone to hook up with.
Agreed.
And I'll say that yeah, it has disturbed the natural order of things. But it does have some benefits too, where I don't think before when people were married, they got to know each other so much before marriage. Like it kind of was the courting period, and then maybe a year together, maybe married. I might be wrong. I wasn't alive
No,
for when my parents did it, but I do see some pluses and some minuses. Maybe more minuses.
What are the pluses in hooking up culture, in the hookup culture?
Well, one, and I've never spoken like this on
I
camera
know.
before, so it's kind of hard. But you don't know if you're compatible sexually, if you don't,
Test it out.
test it out.
Okay.
And I think we have that advantage in our generation. Like we'll know before marriage and before years together or months together if
Whether it's going to work.
whether it's gonna work, in the bedroom,
Okay.
to put it bluntly. Yeah.
So, but I think that what I feel hookup culture changes in regards to the dynamic is that your body functions, for lack of a better word, take over your thinking. You don't get to think about whether you're compatible. Yeah, okay, I got an orgasm, or I got off and she's great in bed, but is she a good partner? Is he a good partner? Yes, he can throw your back out, but no, but it's true. Like,
Yeah.
but is this person actually good for you? And I think that with social media being what it is, we focus on the sexual part a lot.
Yeah.
Oh, she's sexy, or he's sexy.
Yeah.
But is that person a good person?
I think you're right. I agree with you. I have no backup for that one. Yeah.
Because again, and if you're not used to sex, let's say if you're used to it, then you're like, okay,
Yeah.
I can separate the two. But not a lot of people are.
Yeah, I think you're right. And we also kind of have the fun before marriage. So sex after marriage, like, doesn't really have the wow factor like before.
Oh no, I'm gonna stop you there. No, we get the wild factor.
And people, I guess to say, in people that kind of they kind of burn out. They do all the fun stuff too early, maybe, or it burns out. I don't know.
No, well, considering 23 years, I can give you added insight and tell you that
Yeah.
no, one, it doesn't burn out.
Okay.
Two, you actually become really good friends with a person, and there's no, and I don't mean in a boring way,
Yeah.
in a way whereby I know I start grinning when I start talking, but it's like, it's not, there's no guesswork. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, and I know I don't want it to sound like it's not boring at all,
Yeah.
but it's comfortable. It's not weird. It's not unknown. It's not, it's a beautiful thing when you get that person and you're growing together, because as you're changing, that person is changing as well. And it's never boring with the right person.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
With the
I guess
right
I meant
person.
in the sense of people that aren't compatible long term,
Yeah, well.
because they rushed into it. They had all the fun early, and then they realized, wait, I'm not that compatible with this person, because it's feeling like it's getting boring now. We've done everything together that we could do,
And we have nothing else in common.
we have nothing else. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you're right. I think when you have stuff in common outside the bedroom, The bedroom is better because you guys,
You're
you know,
bringing all of that back in.
yeah.
Absolutely.
You enjoyed a date together. Now you're ending the date together. Yeah.
This is true.
I like what you're saying.
So we're going to take that going.
Yeah.
But it's part of what deliberate intentions means, meaning like you have to think about all of it, not just the sex. Sex is very important. I would never knock and tell you that sex is not important in a successful marriage. It very much is. So I'm also not a fan of not having sex before marriage. I am actually a fan of like, yes, you should try it out. However, I also feel like you should date intentionally, like, okay, are we compatible otherwise? Do we have shared interests? Is she going to give me is she going to fulfill parts that I know that I'm lacking in? And am I going to be able to do the same for her? Because we're not all the same.
Yeah, I agree with you completely. That's exactly what I look for in a partner. Someone who's very different from me and that can do the things that I can't do, and that for me to be able to do the things that she can't do. So yeah, I agree completely.
Part of what made our friendship so great is that he was so skilled at all of this podcast stuff, and I was like a novice. I was beyond green, and your energy was one whereby I felt like, you know what, I can actually be myself with this person.
Yeah.
And tell you like, dude, I don't have a clue. Remember my first couple of episodes were like awful, but friendships are
not awful. Let me just stop you.
No, let's be honest. Come on, they were bad. They were bad.
I'll let you record some other people other than your podcast, and you can see what other people start like. Everyone gets better, but you already had a good way of speaking. You had a natural charisma, and what's the word? You were articulate from the jump, so it was easier.
Okay, so I don't feel so bad all of a sudden. but I always say that your energy is beautiful. I don't know if anyone's ever told you that, but I know I told you that from day one, from the minute I met you, that you had beautiful energy, and you still do till to this day. But I feel like a lot of people don't look at energy and realize how important it is. That's something that you never lose. You never lose energy. You never lose a good person. So yeah, you can build on the sex part.
Yeah.
If not for us, but in relationships. Yeah. But friendships and relationships are very deeply connected. People don't realize that they are.
I agree. I think I only started recently to hear couples say that this is my best friend. That's definitely a new thing I didn't hear often before.
I think it's from a lot of infidelity that's happened. You realize that a lot. I know I get it a lot when I'm dealing with couples and they're like, oh, we're not friends. We were never friends. I'm like, well, if you're not friends, then how are you going to be thinking of that person? Be outside of just the bedroom or outside of just the home. If you're not sharing the things that you're learning, or you're sharing the parts of your day, or just sharing anything, then you're just going to keep growing wider and wider apart. You will eventually find somebody to share it with, but it won't be the partner.
Yeah, I agree with what you're saying.
So, what are you looking forward to in your future relationship? We got to put it out there.
Oh, wow. So, I'm a business owner and entrepreneur. I kind of want the same in a future wife. I would want definitely a boss chick, and it's not to sound corny, but it's
you want somebody to hold your own.
Yeah. Like we can, all right, we're the power couple. We're going to take over this whole state, country, a conqueror.
And you will get that. Once you put it out there and you have your mindset, that's another thing about being intentional. Once you have your mindset on what you want, you literally won't settle for anything less. It will be what you keep going after day in, day out. And even if you find yourself off track, you'll find yourself getting right back to it because you'll keep remembering that, that's kind of not what I really wanted. I might have gotten caught up, but this is where I really want to be.
Yeah.
And you work your way back there.
Exactly.
Don't worry, I'm going to be here. I'm going to be watching you like a hawk.
I just think it would be so cool. Like, hey, she has like her hair salon or her laundromat or whatever, and I'll have my podcast studio, and then we help each other out.
She might be a corporate chick, though. Don't knock the corporate chicks. They make they make a lot of money too.
Yeah, I'm not against it. I mean, I guess if you ask me what I am looking for, my preference would be, it would be an entrepreneur. But yeah, if she's in the office kicking butt too, then I'm with that one too. That's fine with me.
There you go.
Yeah.
Final thoughts on relationships from a man's perspective?
I feel so out of it with the modern times of relationships, but I can say that you know how we spoke in the beginning, like what we thought it was when we was a kid. I
Hmm.
think a little bit of that, like sprinkles of chivalry, should still exist.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think that's the yeah, you know, it was kind of corny, you know, rose petals on the floor when they get home.
I still like rose petals. I still
But a
like
little,
rose
yeah,
petals.
like some of that should still kind of exist. It doesn't all have to go away because we're both the breadwinners now, or both the caretakers of the family. Yeah, there should be some little bit of chivalry and yeah, that kind of romantic stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think that for women, especially as women have become more and more independent, sometimes it becomes a problem for them to actually allow men to take care of them.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
know that for myself, that was definitely an issue for me because for most of my life, I had been the one taking care of my siblings, running things. I'd always make decisions. And so it would be odd for me at times to just sit still and let my husband do things. I
Yeah.
was always taking charge. And I didn't realize that I was actually impacting our relationship by not letting him also do the things that make him feel like a man.
Agreed. Agreed. Yeah. Yeah. I think feeling like a man is important
Absolutely.
in a relationship. Um, you know, even if you're different genders or whatever, there has to be one kind of like leader, and not in every situation, but yeah, the feeling like I'm in charge in this moment and this is my space is important for both sides. You know.
Absolutely. But I also think that it ebbs and flows. There are going to be moments when she's leading.
Exactly. Yeah.
There are going to be moments
Yeah.
when you're leading. And I
Yeah.
think that that's the beautiful part about relationships that a lot of people miss is that there are going to be moments whereby one person is leading, the other person is following, the other person
Exactly.
is leading, the other person is following. And over the years in my relationship, we've had so many of those whereby, oh, he's the one that's
Yeah.
in the forefront and I'm in the back. And then there are times when I'm in the forefront and he's in the back.
Yeah.
But we still know that we're both on this journey
And it's a trust thing,
together.
right? Like
That's a
you
lot
with
of trust.
fashion, I'm sure he lets you, if you have an opinion about what he's wearing or what he's about to buy.
He doesn't buy anything.
Yeah, well, you buy
He
everything.
doesn't
You're a
buy
stylist.
anything. He doesn't buy anything. He doesn't know. It's a whole
Yeah.
different story. But yes, it took time for us to get to
Yeah,
that point.
I think
To
in
agree.
your space, in your knowledge, I know that I can trust that you know what you're talking about with style. So I will listen to you. I'll take the back seat and say she knows this is her kingdom. You know,
Yeah.
she's the king of this kingdom. So, but then when it comes to like, if we're watching movies or what movie to watch or something like that, I guess that's where I kind of have the expertise to know,
True.
something like that.
But I think the biggest one that people actually struggle with in regards to leading and following is in the direction of raising their kids. Because
Mm,
sometimes the woman might say, for example, in my household, I'll say for a fact that I've always had an idea of how I wanted to raise our son. My husband had an idea based on how he was raised, but I'm
mm-hmm.
like, how you were raised is not really how we want to raise our son because my husband was spoiled. So I didn't want to spoil our son. I wanted
Yeah.
him to be loved, but structured. So what do you think about that?
I'm probably very close to what your husband thought about it before he had a child, because I don't know yet until I get
Meet the
there.
person.
Yeah, I've had the conversations with people I've dated, like how we're gonna raise kids and whatnot, and I kind of never agree with what they're saying to me.
There you go.
But I that's another thing with trust. I want to find somebody that I trust can do the right thing with a family. You know.
I think that it's going to be, at the end of the day, it's going
Yeah.
to still be both of you because even there are places whereby my husband might say that even though I have an idea and I have a better idea, there's still places that he points out that, you know what, you're either being too structured here or you're being, he still gives
Yeah.
lots of input.
Yeah.
And so I think that for you as well, when you do find that person, you'll see that there might be a nice framework that she has going on, but there's like a little tweaks that she needs to tweak here and there. Your input would still be required,
Okay.
especially
Yeah.
if you don't feel like you have a full grasp of it yourself.
Yeah, I didn't want to make it sound like I wanted her to do everything.
No,
But
I
I'm
know,
sorry if it
I
came off that
know.
way.
It didn't. But I understood you, but no. Most people feel like most people in friendships and relationships feel like,
Yeah.
okay, what I don't know, the other person is gonna basically pull up
Yeah.
on. But it's still both of you because
Yeah.
the friendship, the relationship
Yeah.
is still both of you. So you're both
Yeah.
gonna give your input.
I think for sure I want my kids to know how to swing a hammer, how to use their hands and build and protect. That's for sure. That's where I know that's a must for. That's a non-negotiable.
For you.
Like my kids need to know how to defend themselves and how to feed themselves and how to build for themselves, for sure. And not because I was taught that, but because I wasn't taught it, and I know the value of it now.
Gotcha.
Like if something messes up in here, I know how to fix it.
That's great.
I can wire up things. I can put wood together and build something with it. And it's such a valuable thing to know. It's such a valuable thing to have.
Absolutely.
You know,
There's so many. We all come from so many different backgrounds, but I one thing I've always said and I've always believed in my heart of hearts is that a conversation with another individual you will always come away with something.
Yeah, yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
And so these conversations, thank you for being my very first non-family member guest, but these types of conversations are important to our future. Everything isn't on social media. There's a lot of these types of conversations that you will not necessarily see, it's not going to get a like. It's not going to be the kind of thing that most people would gravitate towards, but it's actually one of the most beneficial things that you can get because we're all trying to connect with each other. The more you learn about another person, the better you will be able to connect.
I agree.
Do you agree?
100%. 100%. The more you know, the better you know if you're gonna get along with them. You
Absolutely.
Connect with them. Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
You can catch all new episodes every Wednesday, wherever you catch your podcast, and definitely on YouTube. Thanks, everyone.